Fall is officially here as of 10:21 this morning, and homeowners still need to think about their lawn care, especially with the recent summer drought. So here to share his knowledge of tree and plant care, we have Jim Wilkinson, owner of Seascape. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Brendan.
Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
To talk about, we were discussing earlier, the drought, of course, which I alluded to in the intro. So really, how dry has it been, and what do we need to know about the lasting effects of this?
Well, we're several inches of rain below where we normally are at this time of the year. And the worst part of that is the drought came during the summer when we really need some rain. So we have a lot of catch up to do. The rain we had earlier this week was great, but it certainly was not enough to alleviate this drought.
We certainly need more. And will this really affect the plants in our yard? Certainly we know that lawns are brown, but beyond just the lawns, what other effects will it have around the house?
It's affecting a lot of shrubs and a lot of small trees. Homeowners should probably take a look at individual shrubs in their yard, and if they see the leaves are already brown or curling, they should perhaps give those shrubs and small trees a good drink of water before the colder weather sets in. The bigger concern is anything that's relatively new. Anything that you've put in within the last couple of years, or certainly this year, you should especially make sure you give that a good drink this fall before winter and colder weather sets in.
Yeah, we don't want to neglect these things. We want to make sure that we're on top of it and whatnot, and they all deserve a drink, like you just said. And let's talk about the effect of the gypsy moths. That was a huge happening this summer, and what effect they really had on all of this.
Well, most of the trees that were defoliated by gypsy moths have recovered. However, the recovery wasn't as good as it normally would have been because of the drought. The drought held back a lot of the recovery, so a lot of those trees still look thin. We're primarily concerned about any trees that went into the gypsy moth damage that were already under stress, and they may have some trouble fully recovering next year if this drought continues.
Well, now, as we stand here at the threshold of fall, a lot of us are very excited about the foliage and the leaves. Will this drought, will all of these factors have any effect on the foliage, the changing of the leaves?
It certainly is going to. The foliage color isn't going to be as brilliant this year as it normally would be. Foliage season probably is not going to be as long as it would be. The good news, if you're traveling north, the drought wasn't quite as severe up in New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. So they're probably going to do better for foliage season than we are here in southern New England.
Yeah, because there's nothing like getting out there and enjoying the changing of the leaves. And with hurricane season, upon us, let's talk about the effect there. Will this have a direct correlation to the drought at all?
Homeowners should probably have their trees, particularly those trees that are closer to their homes, inspected for any weak branches that might come down, and certainly any trees that are under stress. If they're especially close to the house, people might consider having a professional take a look at them to make sure they're still structurally sound and there's not going to be a problem if we have a hurricane or even a severe storm this winter.
It's important stuff. Would you come over and take a look at my lawn?
We'd be happy. We'd be happy to.
Jim, thank you very much.
Okay.
Very valuable information for everybody out there. If you would like to review these great tips, all the fantastic information that Jim from Seascape, of course, just shared, you know what to do. Head on over to roadshow.com.